All right, Fritz, of course. So you imagine these two words together, the medical industry and, of course, the game development industry. And these are two tasking fields that one could find himself. And somehow you manage to find a balance. How do you do that?
Well, I would say it's quite difficult, but then when you get the hang of it, you find it easy to do. Growing up, everybody has to go to school. That one is it's a Nigerian setting. You just have to go to school.
That's right.
And then I went to school and I studied medicine.
Okay.
But along the line, I discovered that I have a passion for tech, news tech. And then I found myself in game development.
Okay.
I was programming games right from my 500 level when things were getting much more difficult in school. But then I just find it entertaining and interesting, and then I used to take away stress from the medical field. So now coming out of school, there's work, there's life, you have to make money out of that.
Exactly.
I still find a way to create balance by devoting time. So most time, during the day, I'm a doctor, and then at night, I'm a game developer.
Oh, really? During the day, you're saving lives, and at night, you're creating entertainment for all of us.
Exactly.
All right, so let me take your mind back a little bit to maybe some years back when Sega was basically the in thing in Nigeria, and every young person wanted to have Sega, to play the game. I personally had to buy it. I had to cry to Daddy, Daddy, buy me Sega. And eventually, Dad bought me the game, and we started playing it and all of that. Super Mario, the football in Sega, and then we, evolved from Sega to say PS1, and of course it has been all evolution, all of that. But doing a quick comparison, and then casting your mind back, what is one significant thing that you can actually remember from playing Sega then?
I played Sega. We all wanted to play Sega. I mean, if you're not playing Sega, you're not.
What are you playing?
What are you playing? So I played Contra 4, I played Super Mario, I played Pokemon. One thing about it is time is changing.
Yeah, it is.
So those technologies that we found that were advanced then, we noticed that there are better versions coming out. We started with PS1, now we have PS5.
Yeah.
10 years time we have PS10, PS20.
Very
and
true,
all of that. So as technology is advancing, game itself is evolving.
Sure.
And as game is evolving, game development is also evolving. Then you have paper drawings, you have everything in black and white. Now you have realistic humans with hair, breathing, skin pose, and all of that. That's how that shows you that game itself is evolving.
True.
The same thing with movie industry, music industry.
Right.
Every other industry is evolving. If you're not moving forward, you'll be stagnant. If you're not stagnant, you'll be outdated. So for you to be in vogue, for you to be at the forefront, you have to be evolving.
That's right.
So game itself is not going to slack.
Of course, it shouldn't slack at all. And of course, now you're a game developer.
Yes.
At some point as well, Nigerians were more concerned about just getting the games and playing them. In fact, somehow we were even finding a way to hack some games so we can just have those games playing around and all of that. But today Nigerians are developers, and then we have home-based games developed by Nigerians. Nigerians are playing their own games here, and I've also heard a few Nigerians are going out there to also represent Nigeria, both as gamers and as also game developers. Now, how would you say that evolution has been thus far too?
Okay, one thing about it is we have newer engines, you have newer system, and you have people being exposed to more technology than they had when they were back then. So as everything is moving forward, people discover that these games that seems that they were far-fetched could actually be developed here in Nigeria. You don't have to travel abroad because the same engines they were using, the same machines, the same code, the same programming language they were using is universal. I'm using it in UK, you can also be using it in Nigeria. Sure. You just have to get into the field and be exposed to this software. Now, people don't really know that there was money in the industry then. Sure. Everybody just saw playing game. It was something as simple as buying the console. It had to do with money, we're transacting. So people discovered that if I can make game, I can make game how I want it to be, and then people play it and they pay me to play my game. And then that was brought the rise of game developers in Nigeria. Right. But like every other industry in Nigeria, people started hearing tech. That's how it started. Game development. Then it was still kind of tedious because you have to write a lot of programming language, much more difficult. But now everything has been simplified. So it's easy for everybody to just enter and start making games as soon as possible. So then you don't have engines, you don't have software, you don't have support. Now you have the support. You have the industry, you have people that will play it, you also have the markets in Nigeria. So
really?
If it can be achieved in foreign countries, it can also be achieved in Nigeria.
Now you talked about having the support here in the country, Nigeria.
Yes.
That has been like the major complaint that most Nigerians have, especially when it comes to the tech industry. Maybe in recent times now there could be some of the support, but some person still complains that we lack the support in the tech industry. And are you coming up to say, well, there's been that support here? That could also be a little bit debatable.
Yeah, support in the sense that then if you're making a game, you have if you don't have your classmates to play your games, that's it.
Okay.
But now you have more people interested in playing games.
Mm.
You have more youths in Nigeria. You have those that are interested in playing online games such as Call of Duty. You have a lot of people that want to play game.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are people that want to play game, if there's a game available for them to play, they will play it. So that kind of support is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Now, to make a game is not easy. There's nothing that's easy in Nigeria. And for you to make a perfect game, you need funds.
Right.
You need funds to start. You need funds to propel your game, and you need funds to continue moving forward.
Okay.
That kind of funding is not something that's readily available in Nigeria. So financial support is kind of difficult to get in Nigeria. Now, aside that, most people just don't like the fact that, or I call it stigmatization. People would rather get foreign products than get
Nigerian products.
So I guess it also applies in the gaming industry. Although we are trying to bridge that market to let people know that we can also make games.
Okay.
For example, God of War. God of War is a popular brand everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, if we have something similar like that in Nigeria, how many of us are willing to just attempt to play the game? It might come out weird. It might not come out as the best. Besides, no game started out at that peak level at once. Every game started at one point in time. It started gradually. If we can support our Nigerian games from wherever it is, with enough funding, with enough support, with enough market, we also get there too.
I agree with you, but you talk about support, and I also talked about the quality of games that are also being developed by Nigerians. In as much as Nigerians might also want to support our own Nigerians when it comes to game development and the rest of the thing, I also think that it will also be easier if the game developers are giving us something qualitative. Now, it might not be at par, for instance, with the God of War of today, but if anyone wants to bring in a game that could maybe in this part of the world rival what is already there, like the God of War you mentioned, then there has to be a little bit of a similarity. Now, in as much as, like I said, it might not be at par, but at least it could just be like, a little bit of a difference, in that particular way. Don't you think if we're able to do that way, Nigerians could say, okay, we could support this more because the quality is there?
Well, the truth is, if I want to start making games today, they expect me to make Grand Theft Auto 5 today.
No, I can't expect to do that.
Exactly.
But if you're going to compare your game with the Grand Theft Auto 5 of today, then that means there has to be a quality, that we could basically use to compare Grand Theft Auto with your own game.
Now, development is progressive. Today, I can learn ABC today. Tomorrow, I'm learning integration and differentiation tomorrow. Now, if we were to start with let's say the US, for instance, if I'm to start development at the same time, at the same rate with the US, I may not go as fast they would because, number one, there's money in the industry. There's actually money in gaming industry, but yet we don't feel it here in Nigeria.
Okay.
Now, they have people that support them. You have God of War, for instance, now is a Greece mythology.
Okay.
It's a Greece game made by the American studio, Sony in Santa Monica. Now, if we have that support system, if we have that market that they have, I believe here in Nigeria we will do the same.
Okay.
But I'm not expecting that we start today and start making a high next-gen game. But then, if we start small, with the support, with the encouragement that every other company, every other games get, we will do better.
Okay, just hold on to that. We'll go for a very quick break. When we come back, of course, we're going to be talking more about the gaming industry in Nigeria. Don't touch that, of course. You're watching your most exciting TV station. Of course, this is Rave Television. We're glad to have you back on your most exciting TV station. Of course, you're still watching Tech Talk. And if the game is not in front of you right now, I think you might just be doing the wrong thing. So yeah, if you have a game in your house, go set it up. Let's play some games together. Before we went on that break, Ozan and I were talking about the gaming industry in Nigeria and of course the market as well. And he did mention that the gaming market in Nigeria is also evolving, it's also developing. But he also said that we've not really begun to feel the impact of the gaming industry or the gaming market. So what impact are we supposed to be feeling at this point in time? Are Nigerians not gulping enough money from the industry thus far?
Okay, for you to say you've done well with the game, the name of that game must be a household name.
Oh, yeah,
if I mention something like Grand Theft Auto, you automatically know what Grand Theft Auto is.
Yeah.
Even if you don't play game, you know what it is.
Not a game.
I talk about PES, FIFA, you know what they are. Talk about God of War, you know what it is. Exactly. Last of Us, these are games that if I mention them, there's even a series on Netflix that's about a game, Last of Us. So when you've succeeded, your name of your game now has become a household name.
Yeah.
It does not happen like that in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Whereby when I mention a game in Nigeria, I automatically know what I'm talking about, or you know what kind of game I'm referring to. So until we get to that point whereby if I just call the name of the game, you automatically know that this is a Nigerian game. Then that will say, oh, we've done well as a game in Nigeria. But there, we've not gotten there yet.
Now we have a community, which also you are part of a community, the Africa Comicade community. That community is supposed to be for gamers, game developers, right?
Game developers, digital creative, generally, animators, Excel developers, and all of that.
Okay, so leveraging on that particular community, this community is supposed to, in my opinion, help to also drive the development, digital developments made by, of course, the tech people basically in the country, Nigeria. Have you seen any of the project or product being projected thus far by the community?
Yeah, if there's one community that I'll tell you that helps game developers, I'll tell you our first name on the list will be Africa Comicade. But what they do is they gather information on people that make games, and then when there's need for collaborations with foreign facilities, or when there's a competition that you need to put Africans on the scale, put them on the pedestal, that you find them there. So you want to interact with the Canadian game industry, for instance, and you need to interact with people in Africa.
Yeah.
The first point of contact will be Africa Comicade. And who do we have on the African Comicade? Africans that make games.
Okay.
Now they held a pitch whereby people that have a game to pitch, they have an idea, or they have a working prototype. They had to put them forward, and then a lot of them had won a lot of funding to continue their game.
Was it Nigeria here?
Yeah, it was in Nigeria here.
Okay.
Just as the kind of support we need. That's the kind of communities we talk about when we talk about game development. People that will put you outside, the people that will put your work there. This is what is done by Nigerians. We're not making this kind of games here. We're not making a next generation game. But here, this is where we are, and we can do better with funding. That's what Africa Communicate do. They find the opportunity and bring to those that are ready to work. They find the opportunity, they go out, they look for the market ready to invest in this kind of games, and then they match the markets with the developers. So that way, you don't feel left out. You don't feel that you're working or you're swimming in a big ocean that you have no bearing. You are riding on the back of an established community already.
Also, that means that there is basically someone that holds tech developers, digital creators by the hand, and also show them the way and all of that. But beyond giving out those fundings, beyond providing the monies for them, how about mentorship? How about PR? How about shameless marketing? What game currently could all of this community come together to say, let us project this game to have that bearing? Maybe first in the Nigerian market, and before we begin to see all of the African countries.
One thing about it is, well, it won't be as easy as it seems, because number one, we are not training people. They offer mentorship anyways, but then everybody that comes and says I'm a game developer, we expect that you're creating a certain level of game. Of course. Now you have different levels of different developers. Now bringing all of them together, number one, it means you have to employ them basically.
Okay.
Yes.
But they're a community. They not necessarily an employment, but let's hold our hands together and push this particular one.
Because what they do is they give people games. They give them opportunities to make games. So they will tell you, oh, you have a week, you have 2 weeks to make it. Let's come up with a prototype. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what your level of skill is. Yeah. And then when we push it, you say, oh, this game is fine. This game needs to do better. They give you your feedback, criticize it. This is what is wrong with your game. This is what you could have done better. This is what is lacking. This is what is making your game not intuitive and things like that. So they give constructive criticism of every game that is made by these developers, and then encourage them to do more. Okay. Because one thing is, I can't come and tell you I'm a game developer if I have nothing to show you for it.
Of course not.
If I have nothing to show you, this is what. But then, if you keep making games, you've made 1 game, you've made 2 games, you've made 5 games. If I tell you I'm a game developer, I'm not just saying it because I want to say it. I'm saying it because I have evidence to show you that I am a game developer. So this is what they try to encourage people to do: build a portfolio. So even if you want to apply as a developer for big companies, you have a portfolio to show them that, yeah, this is what I've done, this is what I work on. Okay. And then that is even more encouraging, because number one, you are in Nigeria, you are breaking into the market, you are breaking into the tech space, into the development sector, and then you are showing for that, yes, I can do this, I'm capable. But then if you've not been making games, how will you know you are capable? How will you know what you are good at doing? And this is what they try to do: encourage us to build more games so you can have more say.
Let's talk about processes. A young person who also wants to get into the gaming industry, and I've been thinking, what are the processes? What do I need to know before I can begin developing my games? Let's talk about those processes.
First things first, just be interested in it.
Okay.
Whatever it is that you want to learn, just be. If you're not interested in it, there's nothing really you can do about it.
So give a guideline, basically. what exactly should we be learning for us to get into the game industry?
Okay, first things first, interest. You develop the interest in developing, in making games. I want to make games. I'm interested in making games. I want to know how to make games.
Okay.
That's one step forward.
Yeah.
There's a saying that before 1,000 miles becomes a full step. You've
That's
taken
right.
the first step forward. But then that's not enough to keep you going.
Mm-hmm.
You've brought your foot out. You came out from your house. I want to go somewhere. It's not enough. You're just standing there.
Yeah.
Next thing, creativity.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have that spark of creativity in you. You might want to make your games hand-drawn games. You might want
Yeah.
to 3D games. You want to be 2D games. Whatever your creativity applies, fine. Next thing is consistency.
Yeah.
When you start making something, you have to be consistent in making it. You have to keep making it, keep making it. The more you refine the skill, the better you are at that skill.
Yeah.
So you have shown interest, you want to make game. Next thing is you've chosen your kind of creativity you want to push forward. And then you are consistent in doing it. That's just the first 3 steps.
Yeah.
Next thing is putting your work out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in your room making games and you're making 100 games and nobody knows you, what's the point of making the games?
You know.
Now, next I'll tell you to join the community.
Yeah.
You might be making your game and then you have this myopic mindset, this myopic bias that this is the best game there. But then you give it to someone else to play and he doesn't even understand the game in the first place. Or maybe you give it to someone and he cannot even find where the buttons are. Your user interface is off, your sound design is off, and all of that. But then if you're in a community where you have these people already in that community and they are looking at your game and they are, this is what you should have done better, this is what you have done better. Things that you wouldn't have seen. You have someone else, you have a third eye, you have a third party examining your game and telling you what is wrong and what you could have done better. That's the next step. So show your interest, choose what you want to create, be considered in creating it, and join a community that will help you grow. Because a single tree doesn't make a forest.
All right, let's pick your brain a little bit. For all of the games you've played thus far, right from when you were a kid up until now, give us like your 5 favorite.
The 5 favorite games across all consoles.
Across all consoles, yeah.
Number 1 would be Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Okay.
Why I like that game is it's mostly about blacks and then the community where people are going through a lot of things, alcohol, gun violence, and all of that. The reason why I like it is because it's something that can be replicated in an Nigerian setting, although we are yet to get there anyways. And then I would say Horizon.
Okay.
Horizon Zero Dawn. I really love the setting, the ambience, the character development, and the story. It was something I really say, this is my number 2. And the God of War series, I just like the God of War series. Right from the God of War 1, 2, 3, because of Sparta, the God of War First, and God of War Ragnarok. I really love all the series. That's how many?
That's 3.
3.
2 to go.
Contra. Contra Sega.
Okay.
The sound, the how it was built, Contra 1, Contra 4 specifically. That's the one on this family con, the keyboard Sega.
Yeah.
How the game was made, you have a progressive, slow, at your pace, and then there are different characters that you can choose from. Choose the one that matches your style. And then I would say, well, Super Mario. I would say Super Mario because Super Mario is one of the longest games that's game. The marketing is something else. That game is older than me, and that game has been progressing from consoles to consoles. That's some persistence. If you ask me, that game is really consistent.
Oh, wow. I was thinking you're going to mention Mortal Kombat at the point I was like, finish it. Brutality.
It's still one of my top 10, but not my top 5.
Not a top 5. Yeah. All right, so there's this game, Call of Duty and PUBG, that has been making wave currently in this time and era. If you do a comparison, which of them would you dump, and which of them would you go for with your both hands? PUBG or Call of Duty?
That's a tough one.
Let's hear you.
That's a really tough one. But number 1, I like competitive games, and then I like shootout games. And this Call of Duty and PUBG, I've found a way to implement both of them in a single game. But when in between both of them will be Call of Duty is first person, as you only see your hand.
Yeah.
Unlike PUBG where you see the entire body and you can switch from full body to first person shooter, third person to first person shooter. I would say Call of Duty. I just say Call of Duty because aside the fact that Call of Duty used to be on console and PC, single player, but the ones on mobile nowadays are strictly multiplayer, online multiplayer.
Yeah.
I still say Call of Duty because number 1, I could play on my PC. But PUBG too, there are ways people play it on PC, but I think I'll stick to Call of Duty. The aesthetics is fine, the competition is interesting. The guns, you really learn about guns. I don't support gun violence, but then they really tell you about guns and then the military style and all of that.
Yeah.
And then I would just go for Call of Duty. It's more realistic to me than PUBG. It's
Call of
much more
Duty.
realistic. Yeah.
All right, guys. Also, Faith is a Call of Duty fan. All right, thank you so much, man, for your time. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So before I let you go, just maybe a final thought to Nigerians, basically, who are in the gaming industry. What would you give them? What's going to be your parting thought to everyone out there?
Okay, first things I would say, if you are interested in making games, I'll tell you to go ahead because this is a market that is increasing exponentially. I mean, if you talk about the top 10 industry in the world, there's no how you won't mention gaming industry.
Sure.
So there's money in it. So if you're interested, this is your time to start. Start now. Start developing. And then secondly, if you are around someone that make games, the least you could do is encourage them. Tell them, you are doing well, you are doing a very good job. Because now we don't get financial support. If you can support them, fine. I won't say the government should come out and support everybody, every form of business. But then, if you can get support from the government, that will also be favorable because it's a very sustainable source of income if the government is funding you. And then, whatever community you find yourself in, put your best foot forward because you don't know who's watching. You could have people that want to employ developers. You could have people that have ties with foreign companies and they're outsourcing employment, and you have people that just want to work with the best thing they have available.
Yeah.
And then when you are consistent in putting your best work forward, a lot of people know when you start putting your foot forward, your name becomes recognizable. And people can call your name, I know that guy. I know that guy. For example, Legend of Orisha, for instance, developed by Dimension 11 Studio. If you watch the game, you just want to play the game. Though it's still in development, that is something that was done in Nigeria and in Nigeria setting. If we have more studios like that, and then we have more support, we'll be creating games, good games, at a periodic basis. We're creating game, we're putting a lot of game out there. But because we don't have as much support as we can, we are kind of working in a limited setting. So if we can take away that, if we can break out of that limit, Nigeria will do better.
Awesome that you heard it from Ozofit. If you can break out of that limit, then Nigerians basically would do well in the tech industry. And of course, Ozofit is again developer. Just a moment from now, you're going to be seeing some of the digital compilation of his work. Yeah, some of the things that he's done thus far. Well, thank you so much for watching Tech Talk with Victor RK on your most exciting TV station. Of course, until next time, keep clicking. Of course, if you have your part, bring it out. Let's play some game. All right, thank you so much, Ozo, for being here. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. All right, bro. Stay safe, everyone.